And then there was another piece that I wrote earlier this week about a feminist blog saying that using the zombie Hillary hashtag is sexist. Because, you know, we used it when she, I don't know if anybody did you guys see when she spoke after the Chelsea bombing on the plane? She looked really tired, and people were saying, you know, zombie Hillary. Well, this author, her name was Morgan Brinley. She was saying that this means that, you know, this is coverage, this is a scrutiny that's being given to Hillary Clinton, that's not being given to male candidates. And okay, I got a question here from the CUNY Republicans, the City of New York Republicans chapter. What advice do you have for conservative students in liberal academia? It's really tough. I think that you just need to not care as much what people think of you, because we're seeing, as I'm talking right now about this zombie Hillary hashtag, what we're seeing is that a lot of these ideas that were on college campuses are now spreading their way to, you know, larger society at large. And I think it's really effective to not be afraid to make fun of something when it clearly is ridiculous. For example, like talked about California Northridge, people sitting in a ball pit and talking about their feelings. Sounds like something you would joke about rather than have a school actually spend money on doing. You know, you talk about saying we're not infantilizing college students, we're not coddling them. And then you have a bunch of students sitting in a ball pit, so talking about feelings. So I would say, basically, don't be afraid to disagree, and you're going to end up better off because you're probably in a place where your points of view are being challenged constantly. And the only way to really know how to defend your point of view is to have it challenged, to learn how to argue against it. And then, of course, there are times when maybe you might learn something from another student and decide, okay, maybe I agree with that or I understand that. But those students who are in the majority opinion, they're not going to have that opportunity. Stephen Bradshaw says, did you see back in June where UNC labeled terms such as I love your shoes a microaggression? Yes, I did. And I love how they said that female shoes are the, you know, only ones that are ever commented on, which is funny because I don't know if anybody, first of all, does anybody remember like the Marco Rubio Bootgate thing? That was kind of ridiculous. We paid a lot of attention to Marco Rubio's shoes. With all of that. And at the same time, again, I like your shoes can be a way to dismiss somebody. You can listen to someone's whole speech and say, I like your shoes. That'd make me mad. It kind of makes me mad when people say that stuff to me. They don't listen to anything I'm saying, and they'll just say, oh, you look like this, you look like that. But it's not always the case. It's not always bad to say, I like your shoes. You can go up to a speaker and say, hey, I have a question about your speech. I like this and that. And then you can say, oh, by the way, I love your shoes. I would appreciate that. Some of my shoes are very hard to walk in, and I'm sure a lot of people feel that same way. So I think, again, it removes the context. If you can say I like your shoes in a condescending manner, but to do this blanket thing of saying it's always offensive to tell a woman that you like her shoes, that's not really answering anything, because then it's just blocking a phrase from your head, which doesn't need to be blocked. We need to talk instead about, thinking about context and being respectful. I'm going to go back to the zombie Hillary thing because this story is really ridiculous. So this woman says, the way Hillary's been scrutinized has been different. She acknowledged, she said, I'm reading here, she said, the internet has poked fun at Trump's hair, orange skin, and small hands, but these threads of criticism are often short-lived and not put into general use by the media in the same way that comments about Clinton's appearance, age, voice, smile, laugh, health, and emotions are. I do agree that women are covered differently in politics and in general. I do agree that as a female commentator and journalist, I've had more attention on my appearance than males do. But if you're going to say that jokes about Trump being orange are short-lived, then you're just factually wrong. You've obviously been living under a rock for a very long time, because jokes about Trump being orange, Cheeto Hitler, orange Hitler, every single day that's happening. So just to say that, you could have found a better example. You could have found an example. The thing is there are examples of Hillary being a victim of sexism. There are examples of that. But these people coming out and saying that every single insult against her or every single slight against her is because of her gender, it does more harm to feminism than helping feminism. And, it's kind of like when Obama said, there's a reason we haven't had a woman president. We're a society that still grapple with what it means to see powerful women. I do think that a lot of society has, a problem with powerful women. I do think that we need more women in positions of power, and I hate when people deny that, but I also hate when people say that that means we need Hillary Clinton in particular, because yeah, she is the first woman running a major party nominee, but that's, so that does make her different. But something else that makes her different is all of the scandals in her past. Something else that makes her different is it's a little harder for her to call herself a feminist based on the way that she treated the victims of the accusers, the people who accused her husband of sexual assault. She goes on campus and says every sexual assault survivor has a right to be believed, and then, not believing apparently the women that accused her husband of, getting an accused child rapist to plea bargain as a lawyer. She has all these scandals. You talk about her email scandal and the Clinton Foundation scandal, which I think is a bigger deal. So to say that if she doesn't win, it's because she's a woman, no, or because our country isn't ready for a woman president, no, I don't think so. Just because Hillary Clinton in particular, if she doesn't win, just because she doesn't win, to say that that means no woman could have won isn't true, because it's just saying maybe this particular woman with this past full of scandals couldn't win. Like Brian said, there's plenty of women I prefer in power rather than Hillary. Absolutely.